Early in my career as a freelancer, I was a late-night worker. I would just procrastinate through the day, and so I couldn't put off my work any longer. I'd often be up past 2 a.m. It wasn't until I started living with my partner that I decided to shape my schedule around hers. It's at that point that I fell in love with early mornings. There's something special about watching the sun rise with a cup of coffee, even in a city like Los Angeles. Things seem to go quiet in the morning. Well, not all the time. I usually wake up between 6 and 7 a.m., but my schedule fluctuates. I wondered how much more productive could I be if I forced myself to wake up at 5 a.m. every single day for 30 days. How much more could I get done? How would it change my life? So, for the next 30 days, my alarm is set for 5 a.m. I figure I'll aim for 8 hours of sleep each night, so the plan is to hit the hay by 9 p.m. Let's see how this goes. Honestly, hitting the sack by 9 p.m. isn't a big deal for me. I'm not as young as I used to be, and for a while now, 9 o'clock has been our bedtime routine, so this isn't exactly new territory. But let's not forget, waking up early doesn't mean sacrificing sleep. Research, like what's in Matthew Walker's book, Why We Sleep, is crystal clear. Skimping on sleep, less than 7 hours a night, has serious consequences. It shortens your lifespan. So that old saying, "I'll sleep when I'm dead," isn't just unfortunate, it's downright unhealthy. Embrace that mentality, and you might find yourself meeting that fate sooner rather than later, with a lower quality of life along the way. The real challenge here isn't the 5 a.m. wake-up call, it's ensuring you get a solid 8 hours of shut-eye. The adjustment period was real. The first week felt a bit like jet lag, and my sleep quality suffered those initial nights. It took some getting used to hitting the sack at a different hour. But after a couple of days, I started feeling more like myself, and my mornings became a lot more productive. Then came the real kicker, dealing with actual jet lag. My family has a trip. After several late nights spent with family and grappling with jet lag, I found myself struggling to get proper rest. It was just past 9 when I realized it was daylight savings time. It had been a while since I experienced such sleep deprivation, and that particular night hit me hard. In my first 2 days in New Jersey, I only managed to get a total of 9 hours of sleep, and it completely altered my mood. Rarely have I experienced such a sleep deficit. I wasn't just upset, I was deeply frustrated. I decided to prioritize catching up on sleep and allowed myself to snooze past 5 a.m. twice during the trip. This situation is a familiar one whenever I attempt to establish a new habit or routine. Eventually, something disrupts the pattern, whether it's illness, travel, vacation, or jet lag, and maintaining the same routine becomes challenging. This was a stark reminder that I need to prioritize my health and well-being over rigidly sticking to arbitrary challenges. Upon returning home, it took another week to regain a sense of rhythm, and I couldn't solely blame it on travel. Finally, after about 20 days of consistently waking up at 5 a.m. and following a particularly unproductive week, I began to establish a morning routine that suited me. Part of this routine involved heading to the gym by 5:30 a.m. for a workout. I discovered that since the sun didn't rise until 7 a.m., it was difficult for me to muster the motivation and energy for creative work early in the morning. By starting my day with exercise, I felt more energized, accomplished something personal, and by the time I returned home and showered, the sun was beginning to rise. This routine allowed me to enjoy a cup of coffee and dive into work with renewed focus. So, it turns out that committing to waking up at 5 a.m. every day did indeed change my life, but not in the way I had hoped. Despite averaging about 7 hours and 53 minutes in bed each night, I fell short of the recommended 8 hours of sleep. Considering it usually takes me about 30 minutes to actually fall asleep, I likely got even less rest than necessary. As a result, my energy levels suffered, and while I eventually settled into a routine that included morning gym sessions and starting work by 7 a.m., I found that my productivity didn't improve. This challenge wasn't something I voluntarily signed up for. Circumstances pushed me into it. One of the perks of running my own business is having a flexible schedule, and I'm grateful that I experimented with this rigid 30-day challenge. It reinforced the importance of maintaining balance and flexibility in my routine. I'm eager to return to my usual wake-up time of between 6 or 7 a.m., acknowledging that life can throw unexpected curveballs. Thanks for following along. Would you like to join me for future 30-day challenges? Until next time.